Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mac Atkinson, and along with Lisa Powers, Judy Dinsler, and Wendy Huff, we're very, very pleased to welcome you all to what's now our part two in this series of calls that we're recording, where we're going to be talking about Sunrider's foundational foods, back to basics with our NBCs, which is our Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse products. As we always do, I'd just like to remind everybody that none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. And as I like to do, I just want to start off very briefly and talk a little bit about Sunrider. Sunrider has been around for over 38 years, so it's an extremely stable company. It operates in over 50 countries around the world, which allows all of us the opportunity to actually establish a global or international business. And as I've said before, one of the things I love about Sunrider so much is the fact that I do get to travel around the world a couple of times each year, working with people of different cultures, different countries, etc. Fabulous opportunity. Next point, Sunrider 100% handles all of the research, development, and manufacturing of over 400 of the world's finest health, nutritional foods, cleansing beverages, weight management, sports and fitness, green household, and all natural skincare and cosmetic products. And they're all manufactured right here at our 1 million square foot manufacturing facility in Los Angeles, California. Now, I did add in another slide this week because I thought it was important just to very quickly share with you guys what, in my opinion, coming from a manufacturing background, that is what truly makes Sunrider so unique. And I'm not going to go into a long dissertation here, but the main thing I wanted to share with everybody is our main focus in Sunrider is all about quality. All of our products are of the highest quality. We employ what's called GMP standards that actually exceed the requirements set by the FDA here in the United States. We extract the vital nutrients while maintaining their natural nutritional properties. We enhance the herbs many times, up to 10 times or more than traditional methods. And what this means is that, again, we employ quality control throughout the manufacturing process, up to and including the final packaging of everything that leaves the door at Sunrider. That's why our foods provide a new level of nourishment that's as close to nature as you can possibly get. All of our foods are produced under what we call our philosophy of regeneration, which very simply put, in my terms anyway, means that if we nourish our body with whole food nutrition and cleanse with cleansing beverages, our bodies will act as they were designed, in that they will renew, repair, and regenerate themselves naturally. Here's some of the products that we're going to be talking to you about this week. And again, these are what we call our NBCs, or our Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse products, our foundational foods. And with that, Judy, would you talk us through a couple of the products that are so important on the cleansing aspect of the NBCs?
Sure, Mac, I'd love to. And I consider it a privilege to talk about just the most wonderful beverage I've ever found. And that's Fortune Delight. You know, everyone is walking around with a sport bottle, a water bottle, a mug, or something today. Everyone enjoys keeping hydrated and drinking something. Fortune Delight, however, is the premier product to choose because it does so much for our body. If you notice the bullet points here, it's designed to nourish and hydrate, but it's a cleanser because it flushes the fat and breaks up lactic acid. Now, you athletes will be glad to know that, and just our everyday gardeners will also. So it supports the different organs in order to cleanse. But hey, I drink it because it tastes good. It comes in different flavors, an original, raspberry, lemon, and cinnamon. So I don't know which is my favorite. It changes at every moment because I really, right now, I'm kind of stuck on lemon. Sometimes I like to mix raspberry and lemon together for a special tanginess. But however you enjoy it, be sure to drink it throughout the day. I know in Arizona, it is the beverage of choice because of our hot weather. But in the winter, I drink it also warm. And sometimes I add it to the next product I'll talk about in a minute. Does anyone else have something to add about their favorite aspects of Fortune Delight?
Well, I would just say too that I like to add Electrosport to the Fortune Delight. It seems to amplify the benefits of the electrolytes, and it will actually change the color of the Fortune Delight as it binds with it and gets it right into the cells.
Thank you, Wendy. And another good aspect of this that makes it so handy is that it is instant, comes in a little packet, so it's easy to carry in your pocket or purse, so you'll never be without. And you don't have to wait in those long lines to get the beverage of your choice. So it's wonderful just to keep handy. And, you know, sometimes if you're the days when we used to be in restaurants, you can add it just to the water they bring. It mixes the easiest in tepid water, but you just have to stir a little longer if your water is cold and has ice in it already.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Perfect. No, this is just last comment on this one, then we'll move on to Cali. But I'm the same way with you, Judy, and Wendy too. I like to mix it up, and I just use my shaker bottle. I'll open up the sachet, I'll put it in my shaker bottle. Wendy, like you, heading into martial arts classes, I like to add the electrosport as well, because I know that I'm going to be losing a lot of fluid during those classes and need to replenish the electrolytes and the minerals. And yeah, I love it. You dump it in, you shake it up, and you're ready to go. Warm, hot, or cold, something we can use all year long. And for me, I've been doing the combination of raspberry and lemon the last couple of weeks here. And oh man, it's a great combination. But again, we go through our little favorites all the time there. Awesome. Cali T, Judy, back to you.
Okay, well, Cali, can you ever imagine being without Cali? I know I can't. That's kind of the premier product that most people get introduced originally because everyone's always drinking it. So people ask, what are you drinking? So unlike green teas on the market, this tastes good and it doesn't have caffeine. And so I don't know about you, but most of the green tea at a store or wherever, when you go in, or even a restaurant, tastes pretty blah. Well, not the case of Cali. I think it's a delicious flavor. It too nourishes the cleansing systems of the body. However, it does it a little different. You might think of Cali as drawing or pulling, and Fortune Delight as flushing. So they both are necessary. It seems like sometimes a person is drawn to one more than the other, but really both should be included to some extent because they each have different purposes. Cali is in a tea bag form, so you use, again, warm water that is purified, not boiled. I use a Mr. Coffee and make mine that way. You can also make sun tea, but be sure you drink it in warm weather because it's all natural and it's very live food. It can spoil if left in your sport bottle in the car or if your sun tea is left outside too long without getting it. Cali 2 comes in a variety of flavors. It comes in the original, just tastes like clean Chinese tea, only a little better. And there's mint, there's cinnamon, and another important Cali, it's in the Cali family, but a totally different formula is Cali Night. And Cali Night is fabulous because some of us have trouble sleeping, and what it does, it won't put you to sleep, but it lifts the nervous energy off the body. I know that many people have it nightly. I love it in the winter. I don't drink warm things at night in the summer because I run a little warm naturally. But I know it's fabulous for helping children relax, get them in bed, and as well as adults. You can drink it during the day also though, because like I said, it won't put you to sleep, but it lifts the nervous energy off the body. One of my favorites is I like to mix mint Cali with the raspberry Fortune Delight. And the cinnamon I like, stand alone, but it's fabulous with, once we get our peach Fortune Delight back, I love the peach and the peach Fortune and the cinnamon. So whether warm or cold, they're certainly available to mix, but just find your own flavor. But the way you decide how much or how dilute to make it is according to your body's needs. I had someone initially that made a packet to a gallon. Most of us do about a packet to maybe 2 cups, 2 to 4. So it goes a long way. It's good for you. And the interesting thing is both of these products are for cleansing, but it's as the body cleanses naturally. It just assists. So we have used these for newborn babies as well as the elderly. You just might adjust the strength, as common sense would tell you on anything. So anyone else have something to add on Cali? I could talk all day, so I better turn it over.
I especially remember when Dr. Chen introduced the cinnamon and the mint, because he said, as some of our other products are system specific, the Cali cinnamon is especially good for digestion, and the Cali mint is especially good for the sinuses.
Very nice.
Excellent. You know, I love these products as well. And I can remember as a second generation Sunrider, I can remember my father and his wife at the time talking to me. They always called it temple tea, which I had my own interpretation of, but we brew up Cali, my wife and I, every morning. We put it in a big pitcher, and then we add the Fortune Delight to it. So we combine the two. And, you know, Judy, I've always been an original flavor guy in terms of Cali, but I love your idea of combining the mint with the raspberry Fortune Delight. That sounds like it would be a really refreshing, especially summertime kind of drink. So thank you for that. Tomorrow, that's what we're going to be brewing up downstairs, I can assure you. And yeah, thank you for sharing. Anything else? Wendy, do you have anything you want to say about this one?
I love Cali.
There you go. Fair enough. Well, hey, you're going to talk to us now about our all-natural sweetener.
Yes, yes, stevia, the sweet solution. Stevia has been written up in Medline as being beneficial for balancing blood sugars. And it's interesting, a recent study just published last month showed a promising impact on liver health. It's free of calories. It's a useful tonic for the body and a good replacement for sugars and artificial sweeteners with their many adverse side effects. Actually, Dr. Chen was instrumental in the FDA approval of stevia as a food additive all the way back in September of 1995 in this country, and we are forever grateful. With stevia, it's interesting, it is the only sweetener that I do well on. And that's because all stevias are not created equal. It's a very high quality stevia leaf extract and chrysanthemum flower. And Dr. Chen has signed contracts with over 90% of the farmers in Paraguay for the stevia leaves to be grown there, because the soil and the climate there are perfect for growing stevia. It's kind of like you can grow a better potato in Idaho than you can in New York because of the environment is better, and so you would have a potato that's more nutrient dense. And then also because of Dr. Chen's expertise in formulation, that's the gift that we have with our stevia. In Sunrider, we have Sun Nectar and Sunny Dew. And Sun Nectar is a raw, dark, kind of has an anise licorice flavor to it. And Sunny Dew is clear, a bit more refined. Both are liquid. They last a long time. Everyone has their favorites. I really like the Sunny Dew. I think it's so versatile. I use it also in cooking. Anytime my husband, well, he's not listening, so I'll tell you, I put it in his pancakes. He thinks he's getting maple syrup. So there are some real health benefits to using it besides the delicious taste. So enjoy your stevia. You don't have to ever feel guilty about it.
Excellent, excellent. Any other comments, ladies, on this one?
Oh, you know, it's always nice to have both flavors, because it's interesting how you know exactly which one to put in what you're having. Because for me, when I make my peach fortune, I always use the Sunny Dew, but when I make my morning drink with the Cali New Plus and Quinery, I have Sun Nectar. It just, the combination is just what you particularly like. But I also believe that when you choose a certain ingredient, there's also a reason for it intuitively, because as we eat these foods, we start to get an intuition on what it is we eat and when and how, what the combination is. So we get to where we trust that in ourselves with the Sunrider products.
And I'd just like to echo Wendy in that not all stevia is the same. And I thought you did an excellent job. But just as a reminder, it's just not about the thrill of getting sweetness with no calories. It's not a no calorie issue per se. But you use it for the health benefits. So even if occasionally you run across someone who has really worked hard to have no sugar, no sweet in their diet, and that's commendable, certainly, but just a drop or two for the health benefits is very good. And I agree with Lisa. Each one goes to certain things. Cali for me is Sun Nectar, and Fortune Delight is Sunny Dew. So find whichever works for you the best.
Interesting. That's great. For me, I've always been the traditionalist. There must be something about that slight licorice taste of the Sun Nectar, but that's always been my favorite one. You know, it's interesting. We were having a conversation the other day about the differences between stevias that are on the market today. And most of us know, I mean, you can go to the supermarket today and you'll find other stevia products typically made by those major cola companies out there that have tried to come in and take over the market. But one of the things that we were talking about is how these key ingredients are isolated when you look at the raw stevia plant. And this kind of comes back to what we were talking a second ago in the philosophy of regeneration in terms of the formulation, the owner expertise, because what Sunrider has been able to do, instead of strictly isolating the sweet taste, Judy, like you mentioned a second ago, okay, like these other companies have done, so they're strictly isolating the taste. Sunrider's come up with their own way of isolating all of the benefits that come from the stevia plant. And again, I don't want to get into whole diagnosis, cure, any of that kind of stuff, but I can say that Sunny Dew and Sun Nectar are designed to actually nourish, back to our nourish, balance, and cleanse. They nourish the pancreas, which allows the pancreas to work as it's supposed to. And I will share with you that my sister is a type 2 diabetic, and she loves Sunny Dew in particular, because what she finds is it truly does nourish her pancreas. It helps her in controlling her blood sugar as a type 2 diabetic. And again, folks, if you're looking for the highest quality, most effective stevia on the market, you're in the right place. So good stuff. Lisa, tell us a little bit about the nourish part of that nourish, balance, and cleanse we're talking about.
When we talk about nourish, we talk about New Plus. New Plus is Sunrider's foundation food. When Dr. Chen talked about it being a foundation, he says that if there's one product that you can purchase, this is the one, because it starts the process of healing in the body. It also is like a comfort food, and it gets the body ready to accept the other nutrients. And so then you can, if you start with that, if that's all you can get in the beginning, then you add to it, and so you've got a good foundation. He also referred to it as pre-digested, or what we used to call already been chewed, because it's so easy to assimilate. So it's really good for babies, and oftentimes babies, if they're having trouble sleeping, you can give it to them before bed and they end up sleeping through the night. It's so nourishing. New Plus is 65% complex carbohydrates, the healthy carbs, 20% protein, so that's red bean, white bean, green bean, black bean, and yellow bean, so in a whole bean source, and 15% essential fatty acids. And when you look at the label, what you're going to see is something that plants that are concentrated bioflavonoids, antioxidants, amino acids, phytochemicals, all from whole food source. So New Plus is such an outstanding product that I've been eating it since I was, well, I won't say how old I was, but it was since 1988. Many people have said that just the New Plus has lifted up their emotions. So people that were depressed, I remember one really good friend that's been in Sunrider since I have been, she said that her husband, after she started on New Plus, she would eat it like every couple hours because of depression. And her husband said to her, don't ever quit eating that because it's so lifted up her emotions. And I find that a lot of people say that. And because it's so easily digested, people who are ill, maybe they've been on something from the doctor that's even made them feel that, well, I'm going to say, like, some people have been on chemotherapy and they're too sick to eat after, and they can eat Nuplus because of how easily digested and high in nutrition it is. It supports their system through that. Nuplus also is, some of the products that have Nuplus in them are VitaShake, Protein Plus, New Puffs, which is a crunchy snack. Kids can eat that. Well, we all can eat it, but kids especially like it. It's something you can give them that's instead of the junk food crunchy snacks. And we also have Sun Bars. And so Nuplus is a good way to start, but it's also the foundation with the Fortune Delight Cali, the Stevia, and now Mac is going to talk about the Coinery, the one that balances.
Sure will, but ladies, any other comments on Nuplus, or do I get to jump in on this one?
I had a quick one. Lisa did a great job, but I just wanted to say that because it doesn't take your energy, any energy to digest, that's why athletes love it, and that's why patients convalescing, people trying to get well. It's also fabulous for anxiety and stress. And a nice way to do it if you're going through a rough time is to just take a teaspoon of it and drink it with water. And one of the premier foods in it is koi. And I was listening to a radio talk, a health talk one day, and they mentioned, it wasn't about Sunrider, but they mentioned koi fruit is one of the 2 most nourishing foods on the planet. So we can all feel really privileged that we have it so concentrated in all these products.
Yeah, I find it to be a comfort food.
Yes.
Great way to put it, Wendy. And you know, you're reading because I've always believed with any of these foods, actually, that I rely on my body to tell me if something's good or not. And when I eat Nuplus, like right out of the bag, which is how I normally have it every day, you're right. It is a comfort food. It's calming. It's all of those things. And, you know, it's interesting. Just a couple other points. I have had a chance, as I mentioned, traveling around the world, working with Sunriders everywhere. And one of the questions I love to ask people that have been around Sunrider for a while is, if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have one Sunrider food, which one would it be? Universally, okay? And we're talking PhDs in nutrition. I mean, all kinds of people with incredible backgrounds. The product that they go to is Nuplus. The other thing I'll share with you, and I'll mention a name because many people have known them for a long time, JW and Lois Emerson. I remember talking to JW years ago about the best nutrition that I could eat pre and post a martial arts workout. And what JW said, he said, look at Mac, if you're really looking to build lean muscle and you want your body to be able to recover and really get the benefits of what you're doing with your workout, eat a bag of Nuplus 30 minutes before and eat a bag of Nuplus 30 minutes afterwards, because this is the best possible food you could put in your body. And I tell you, he is so right. So I just wanted to share those couple of things before we now move on to the balance part of our conversation, which is for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about Coinery. You know, when we speak of Coinery, it translates to 5. And what Dr. Chin did with this formula is he looked at the herbs out there in combination that would support each other and deal with supporting and nourishing our immune system, our circulatory system, our digestive system, our endocrine, and our respiratory system. And he put these things together based on the 5-element theory, which is a theory that's been in China for over 5,000 years. And we'll maybe have another whole conversation on 5-element theory. And we've certainly talked about it in the past on other calls, but it's truly an incredible way to look at the body and how the body works. And for me, when I think of this particular formula, a couple of things comes to mind. First of all, again, I'm going to go back to that philosophy of regeneration. When we talk about variety, at least when I talk about variety, I'm not talking about a carrot and broccoli and cauliflower and all those kind of things. I'm talking about a product like Coinery that combines over 50 different herbs, plants, and flowers to make up this one formula. That's the variety we talk about when we speak about variety with Sunrider. And one of the pictures that I put in my mind, and I probably should have put it on the slide, but it's something that we've all kind of talked about in the past, is when I think of quinary, I think of a cart being drawn by 5 horses. And when the 5 horses are pulling and running together in unison, everything's in balance, right? Everything's moving well. When one of those horses starts to drop back, or we're feeling a little bit of imbalance, that's when we need to look at maybe nourishing a particular system. And I share that as we move into this next slide, because these 5 formulas, Conco for respiratory, Assimilate for digestive, Primegan for the endocrine, Alpha 20C for the immune, and LifeStream for the circulatory. If you're feeling one of those horses, okay, in your body, again, coming back to paying attention to what your body's telling you. If you're feeling like there's an issue in one of these areas, you can purchase and consume an individual formula. And I know I've shared this on calls over the last number of years, but for me, traveling internationally, I know the month before I travel internationally, I'm bumping up the Alpha 20C because I want my immune system to be strong. And folks, let's face it, I mean, we're dealing with a pandemic right now around the world. People are dealing with COVID, and what is that impacting? It's impacting their immune system and their respiratory system. Alpha 20C, Conco, these are incredible foods, and that's what these formulas are. They are food grade herbs. Anybody that wants to build their immune system and build their respiratory system should be consuming these foods on a daily basis. And I'll tell you, I mean, I am respecting social distancing. I wear my mask in public like I'm supposed to, all those things. But I know inside my heart that the most important thing I can do for my body is to build up my immune and to build up my respiratory system, because then I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So that's kind of my short story on quinary. Ladies, any comments, testimonies you'd like to make about this particular food?
Quinary is great. People may also choose to buy extra of one of the formulas or 2 of the formulas if they know they have a weakness or a need in that area. So I do well with extra Alpha 20C and extra LifeStream, so because those are my weaknesses.
Gotcha.
I would just like to echo that once again, because I don't think my family would have shown the response so soon had we not had all 5 of the systems. Because my natural inclination would have been to, boy, latch onto that Conco for the lung issues. However, it was sold as a sun pack then. And again, we could take extra of whatever we're low in, but the fact that I fought the urge and used all of it, it balances out, and it tends, and the interesting thing was, the particular person in my family that had the lung issues turned out to be more of a digestive problem than even a lung issue. And I was blown away with that. But like I said, I wouldn't have seen the results. So if a person is able, that's the best start, and then add, because where you think the issue is may not be coming from that particular system at all.
Right. Right.
And I would like to say that when Dr. Chen talked about the 5 elements, there was so much more knowledge behind it than he even talks about, because it's really, he says it's too much information. People just need to know the basics. But for people to know that he takes into consideration each system and the emotions and color, there's so much more that he takes into his design of these products. And I especially think of it in the 5 elements, because those are the ones that we specifically use to target. And for me, Assimilate for my digestion and for my emotion. Assimilate is very good for me and for a lot of people that I speak with that have digestive issues, to even open the capsules into hot water, put a little stevia in it and drink it as a tea, and it's cooling to the intestines, and it can really help if you've got anything going on just on the spot. You know, it's regenerative, which means long-term, but to drink it as the tea right then, it really helps right off.
Excellent. You know, it's interesting, Lisa, that both you and Judy, you've mentioned Assimilate, and I know I'm going to get the statistic wrong, so I'll apologize in advance, but I was reading something recently that said, again, I'm going to say 80% of most illnesses actually begin in the gut. So if you can begin by bringing your gut into balance, okay, with something like Assimilator, like we've said, start with quinary, and then if you're feeling out of balance in any one area, look at these things. And again, I don't want to tease everybody, but maybe there is some way we can come back on another call and talk more about the 5-element theory and how these things support and control each other, and all of that information, or at least some of it, that Dr. Chin has shared with us over the years, and other leaders. Incredible products. So again, folks, this week we've talked about Nourish with New Plus. We've talked about Cleanse with Fortune Delight, with Cali, and with Stevia. And we've talked about our Balance product with Quinary, and then these other 5 formulas. And I'd kind of like to take it now again and just remind everybody that whichever approach for you, whoever's listening to this call, there's a way to join Sunrider the correct way. I mean, certainly you can join as a retail customer. It doesn't cost anything to do so. And you can purchase any or all of these great foods at our competitive retail pricing. If you know that you're going to be a consumer and you like discounts, which who doesn't, we suggest maybe you consider joining as a preferred customer. Sunrider offers you a discount on your purchases, as well as specials. Most every other month, they'll provide some little special benefit to their preferred customer program. But I'll tell you, for me, when I look at Sunrider and the opportunity, the only thing that made sense was as an IBO, or an independent business owner, because I wanted the ability, like most of us, to be able to share these foods with other people that I come across in my life. I want to be able to share with them the business opportunity. I want to have the whole compensation plan open to me in terms of an ability to generate income from this opportunity. And folks, that's where becoming an IBO becomes so important. So again, whichever method is right for you, retail customer, preferred customer, or IBO, please consider what's going to be good. Now, we talked about all of these products up on the screen right now, and I wanted to just bring this slide up, because when you look at the Sunrider pricing list and so forth, and what should I buy, etc. I know, ladies, because we've talked about this many times, I think all of us started initially by purchasing a Sun Pack, all right? And again, the Sun Packs are still available. It includes the Fortune Delight, the Cali, the New Plus, the Sunny Dew, and the Quinary, everything we've talked about this week in one convenient 30-day pack. This happens to be the once-a-day pack on the consumption, but again, this will give you everything that we've actually spoken about this week. Ladies, Lisa, talk to us a little bit about this next slide.
Well, identify your why. Some people on this call, or some people listening to this, have already been in Sunrider for a while, and maybe you're looking at rebuilding your business and you're trying to find a way that's more nowadays. We used to do it a certain way. There's a way to do it now that's much easier, and we'd like to help with that. And some people, you know, the world has changed in the last few months, and people are looking at health in a different way than any people who wouldn't have looked at health before are looking at it now. People are looking at businesses at home making income more than they ever have before as well. And so this is a time for those who are interested in creating an income from home. This is the time. And then there are those who would love to eat these Sunrider foods, and they would like to be able to pay for their products. So the why can be different for everybody, but there's a reason to get started now.
Absolutely. You know, I couldn't agree with you more, Lisa. I mean, as I know, and you just said this, and I've experienced it too. People that I haven't talked to in a year or 5 years or 10 years in some cases, because of the circumstances of today, have now at least come back and started consuming some of the foods. And unfortunately, a lot of people either laid off or furloughed from their jobs. So they are looking for that home-based business model that will feel good to them, to keep them in integrity, because they want to provide something of value to people. But it's a way for them to earn a little bit of extra income too, by developing a stream of residual income. So right on as far as that's concerned.
And I'd like to add to that, that, you know, here we are in a situation where people are looking at where their money is coming from. And the first month this whole thing started, Sunrider's sales for a lot of us doubled. And that's when people are looking at their health and they're looking at not having money. And yet, where did they put their money and their heart? In Sunrider.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, you know, and you're right, Lisa. I mean, have seen the same thing. And if whether there's a second wave of COVID or all the things that you hear about on the news, my goodness, who wants to listen to it these days? I think it's really important that people do look at their immune system, their respiratory system, how they're cleaning their homes, their hands, their foods, etc. And that kind of dovetails into that next point of being a product of the product. And I know, Judy, you have a passion for this particular bullet. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, at first it might sound a little scary, become a product of the product. Some might misinterpret that once their health is glowing, or they're the thinnest person on the block, or they're the fastest cyclist. And that's not what it means at all. It means, take Fortune Delight, for example. If you buy it, drink it. It's a fabulous product. Don't leave it on the shelf. The more you drink it, the more you're going to be excited about it and have some things to share and say about it. And one of the most wonderful things about sharing the products in Sunrider through the years for me has been, I get to hear the results other people get. And so then when I'm talking with someone else, I could refer to, well, this person found that Fortune Delight did this for them, or something in that order. I take New Plus every day, and I realized someday I didn't get around to it. And let me tell you, I was looking all over the house for something to eat. So being a product of the product, in that I eat New Plus regularly, I realized if I don't eat that, I'm going to have the COVID spread that everyone's talking about, that they're just eating to entertain themselves or whatever. So by using the product, you become a product of the product, and that you know how it fits in, what it's done for you. So you have something to share. And you, like we've mentioned before, you're purchasing products that regenerate the body. They raise your energy level or your frequency level, so that you have the ability to do more, and more tolerance and care, and you want to share the good things with other people. So I think if you don't have a story, you will, and other people have lots of stories. So tap into theirs also. We love to share our stories, if you haven't realized by now. So do start using the products and become a product of the product yourself.
You know, I love that, Judy. Thank you. I have always believed, and I've said this on previous calls, I mean, we are electrical beings, so vibration and frequency is so important. And Lisa, you and I have talked about this whole idea of frequency many times, and that's one of the many reasons I love these foods, is they do increase your vibration, they increase your frequency. And again, I don't want to go down another path here of the electrical generators in each cell and all that kind of stuff. We'll save that for another time, but I'm with you guys. I mean, I love eating these foods, and if for no other reason, then I'll come back to that word integrity again I used a few minutes ago. I want to make sure that I can share all of this information with anybody I meet in true integrity. And to do so, I know I needed to have my own Sunrider testimony. So to your point, Judy, absolutely. That's the reason I consume these foods. That's the reason I listen to other people speak and what their experiences have been. So truly we can share with integrity what these foods can do to help people, no matter what area of need they may have at this particular time. Perfect. Other comments, ladies? I'll pick it up. Oops, hold on. Let me come back to that. We weren't quite ready with that slide.
I'm supposed to talk about the many, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Wendy, share a little bit on that one.
Okay. Okay, so we're really excited about the virtual meetups. They're so versatile, and it's fun, it's easy, and it's successful. And if you already have a Sunrider group, you can invite your people, just like we're doing here. And you could have a Zoom meeting with one-on-one. You could have 10 people. You can have 100 people. You could have new people. If you're a new person yourself, fine. You could, if you have an IBO and you wanted to build their downline, It's just so versatile. It's really whatever way you want to do it. And what we're doing here, our hope is that by us doing this meeting, that you will share the link, and then your new people will watch this and get excited. And, you know, it's interesting that on the news, there was a newscaster who was talking about to protect ourselves during this pandemic. There's masks, but we know that not everyone will wear one. There's a vaccine hopefully coming, but you know, they don't always find a vaccine for every illness. I don't think there's one for AIDS. So we ourselves, just like Matt commented, we have our own responsibility for our own health. And it's interesting, the statistic is that in America, 40% of Americans are obese. So why not work on that now and get ourselves, lose some weight, get ourselves healthier? In Sunrider, the sales are up, and that's because people are putting their health as a priority. And it also mentioned in here, identify needs and share the solution, ask questions, family, occupation, recreation, and material needs. We think of it as form. And it's just so dear to my heart, because when we first started, and my little boy was about 5 years old, and we would go to our different meetings, and he says, I want to talk to people, but I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start a conversation. And so I taught him form. So ask them about their family and what they do for work and what they like to do for fun. And so he'd go up to a little old lady and say, so how's the family? You know, it's that easy. So we can all do that and start conversations. We don't necessarily have to have an agenda of where it's going to go, but it helps you to take an interest in someone, and people appreciate it. And so I think this is all good.
Ladies, any other comments?
When people are looking for an answer, somebody shows up to give it, and we want to be the one with the answers.
Absolutely, right on. You know, I think there's so much that was covered here this week, and you guys, I can't thank you enough for the way that you share, and I love these kind of meetings, because this is the perfect example of a virtual meetup and sharing as leaders. And you know, you've all kind of said it in your own way, but what we hope now is that everybody that gets this link will share it with folks. And I will go ahead and speak for all of us, because I know we've talked about this before. If there's anybody seeing this presentation and you have an interest in doing your own meetup, and maybe you aren't as comfortable as we are in this thing, we're here to help you. Reach out to well, first of all, the person that shared the link with you, but then secondly, there's various ways to reach us too. And if you're seeing this, you're probably a part of our organization, or we're hoping that you will be, and we're here to help you. So if there's any way that we can help you with a virtual meetup, if we can help you in terms of chatting with people that you're coming in contact with, and again, just sharing some of these basic concepts, would love a chance to do so. And again, our commitment is we're going to carry on each of the next few weeks. And one of the things that we kind of agreed that we would talk about next week are some of the Sunrider products that we all love that help us reduce stress and strengthen our immune and respiratory systems. And you never know, there may be a few surprises we throw in next week too, but we want to be here for you guys and just so appreciate you. And again, please use us, use these links, use this information, and let's get out there and share with as many people we can, because there's so many folks out there that are looking for their answers for their health and for their financial security day. Ladies, any last comments? Leave the last words to you guys.
Thanks for tuning Thanks for tuning in.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. Well, look, we'll be back to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I love that picture.
Okay.